Clouds of dust invaded their immediate space as Matoaka frantically shifted the books on the shelf as she tried to read the spines of them.
"What are we looking for again?"
asked Hook as Matoaka tried her hardest to reach the tippy top of the library shelf.
"It is a book of Windenburg laws. I do not understand all of the words, but if I find it, maybe Joaquin can look at it and figure out how." "Figure out what?"
Matoaka stopped her search to swivel around and face the king. His curiosity piqued, and she realized he still had no idea what her people were going through.
"Hook, my people's lands are being taken from them, lands we have lived on for centuries. People with deeds, whatever that means, are claiming they own it now and want to build tourist spots and buildings for mass retail."
Hook sat himself on the leather chair in his study. Small squeaks were heard as he settled himself in it.
"Matoaka, is that why you joined this competition? To ask for help for your people? To maybe win and help them yourself?"
Matoaka was caught red-handed. There was no use denying it. It was the reason why she joined. Her father requested, and she complied for him and for her people. "Yes," was all she said. No further explanation, no extra detail.
"I will ask Joaquin to look into this for us. I appreciate your honesty, Matoaka, but you could have told me sooner. I would have gladly helped then, as I am helping now. Tell me, are you still interested in all of this? By that I mean the competition, getting to know me. Are you satisfied with my word to help? If the latter, you are free to go. No obligations, no strings attached. You have my blessing."
Matoaka looked deeply conflicted with his words. Did he not want to get to know her? Did he want to get rid of her? If he had offered to release her the first week of the competition, she would have jumped at the offer, but now? "I am eternally grateful, Hook, for looking into my people's welfare. But if you do not mind, I would love to spend time with you if you are still interested in me." Hook did not expect Matoaka to want to spend time with him after he made it clear he would help her people. She was fascinating to him. Since the first day he saw her stroll into Hogwarts, he was stunned by her beauty. It couldn't hurt to spend time with her. His heart was already conflicted with Dee and Tank. Surely this would at least prove a distraction from his most recent sadness at losing his friendship with Smee. Hook smiled genuinely and said,
"Very well. What do you think about going back home to your village? Would you like that?"
Matoaka almost cried with happiness. "I would like that very much," she sighed. "I do not know what to say."
"Say I'll see you downstairs in an hour."
When they arrived at Tribe Senakamaka, Matoaka noticed her father was missing. Her grandfather assured her he was safe. He simply went to the secret place for prayer and solitude over their displacement issue. He would return later that week. Matoaka introduced Hook to her family and invited him to see the horses they raced. She was particularly excited about showing Hook Latte, her most beloved horse. He was stunning and kind. She missed him so. The stables brought back so many imminent childhood memories of the days when she didn't have to worry about anything else in the world but caring for the stalls. When Latte spit in her hair or nuzzled her cheek, she lingered on the fence for a few minutes, taking in the sight. It was beautiful. The land, the horses, simply breathtaking. Even Hook was speechless. "What do you think so far, Hook?" She settled on the fence, sitting close to him.
"I think it's incredible. One of the most amazing places I've had the honor of visiting, and I have seen many places, Matoaka. None can compare to this place in this moment."
Her small hands reached for his shoulder for balance, but the touch was another unexpected surprise. He enjoyed her closeness. She smelled of summer and freedom. He had dreamt of her being this close for months now. Now, all he could think of was how lucky he was to have this chance to know her. He wanted more of her. He needed to know if all this anticipation, all this waiting to be with her was everything he assumed it would be. Her honey-colored eyes, her plump lips, her extra curvy body was emanating so much warmth. He knew if he kissed her, there would be no turning back. Just as he leaned in to steal a kiss from her, Matoaka's sister invaded their privacy.
Yuck! Guys, get a lock house. Grandpa wants to know when you'll be back from riding.
Matoaka pivoted on the fence and yelled back without looking at her sister, but staring straight at Hook. Tell him in an hour. We have some horses to ride. She jumped down and hurried over to Latte, hugging on him and assuring him she had not forgotten him. Hook was mesmerized by her delicate ways with the horse. She nurtured him and loved on him. It was something to behold. She invited him to see the rest of their lands on horseback. After her greeting, they mounted Latte and another horse named Cole and toured the lands. She stole hugs from Latte every chance she could, and Hook's heart melted in pools of joy to see her with such peace. They toured their river and held hands whilst atop the seats. It was like straight out of a romance novel. Hook, there is a place I would love for you to see.
I will follow your lead then.
She nodded. They dismounted Latte and Cole and approached a solitary place. Matoaka entered the brambles, revealing the mouth of a cave. He was not at all expecting this. She called for him to follow and was quickly nervous for her, so he entered the hollow with great speed. They walked in the musky, lurky cave for what seemed like forever. He swatted at spiders and ants and stepped on God knows what until they reached the other side.
Do you just go into every hole in the wall you find, Matoaka? You need to be more careful.
He seethed. Turn around, she beckoned with a full-on smile. This is the reason why I travail the terrible cave, Hook. I would do it 1,000,000 times to see the sight I share with you. Hook turned around and immediately went calm. All of his senses were heightened at the sheer massiveness that was this spectacle. A waterfall, the mountains, the misted rainbows. He too would have walked the murky cave 1,000,000,000 times to see this again and again. At their secret place, Hook captured some dragonflies, and they swam in the rivers. When they were greeted by an old lady that looked haggard and decrepit. "River Keeper," Matoaka cried. "It has been too long. I am glad to find you well," she stated. The old lady smiled and told Matoaka she had a few fruits and herbs she could take back with her to help feed her people. "Keeper, you are most kind to us." "As you have been to me all these years, child. Who is this handsome fella, This is my friend, Hook." "Friend indeed," she said shakily.
Hello. Nice to meet you."
This old lady intimidated him, but why? Could it be he felt her gaze touch his insides? She was just bizarre, and he could not read her. You have in you a turmoil you are working through. A 3-pronged decision you must make. But you will make the best decision, young man, because it impacts the world. He knew exactly what she meant, and it gave him peace to know he would inevitably make the right choice, although he still had no idea what that choice would even look like. Back at the tribe, they all got to work planting their seeds for the season. It was wonderful to work for a great cause. He made a mental note regarding food for these people. He would ensure their stay in their lands. Food and shelter for the people. This would be his priority as king, not just for this tribe, but for others too. In the evening, Matoaka's grandfather called them all to the fire after their meal. The tribal ritual was about to commence, and he requested that she tell them the story of the fire, earth, wind, and water. She began their tale. There were once 2 brothers that were given the great responsibility of this planet, water and fire. Water became the first chief of Senakamaka. He was chosen because he was pure and brave. Earth was his first love. She was exotic, beautiful, a nurturer. Together they made plants, animals, and humans grow healthy and quickly and strong. Water and earth fed and birthed many nations. They were loved by all. One day, Chief Water was challenged by his brother Fire. He was jealous of Water's luck and desired earth for himself. He did not know that Wind, another tribal member, was enamored with Fire. Fire challenged his brother's leadership, and they dueled until the death. Everyone just assumed water would win, but wind kept fueling fire unbeknownst to the people. She was seldom seen by others. Wind and fire turned water into a cloud of mist that merged into his wife's Earth's body. Those were the first tears shed on the planet, for Earth cried until death consumed her. Her form covered the foundation, and she became the ground we walk on. Out of her bosom was born her husband's new form, the oceans and streams and the very river that runs through Senakamaka, the river that helps us grow healthy and quickly and strong. Matoaka grabbed the fire torches and began the tribal dance of the second chief of their lands, Fire, in homage of the brother's legacy. Hook had no words for his tribal beauty. She was fierce, talented, and mesmerizing. After the tribal session, they sat by the fountain in the middle of their tribe to talk. "Are you enjoying yourself so far?"
How could I not? Horses, waterfalls, fire dances. And you?
Matoaka giggled.
Matoaka, you do realize that if you win, you will have to live with me and will seldom be able to be here with your people. That is a very difficult choice. Would you give it all up to become queen?
A very powerful decision, but one I make without hesitation, Hook. By your side, we can make the world a better place. It will be hard work, but I have only known hard work all my life. I want to be like Mother Earth and help her people. The question is, are you my water chief? After they said goodnight, he hung out in the sweat lodge to purge and purify, mostly to think. Her question was profound. Was he the water chief to his people? He kept asking the ladies if they would sacrifice, but was he willing to let go of his own pirate's life to serve his kingdom, relinquish the love of all of his beauties, to be king, and only love one of them forever? His beloved was making herself clearer to him, and it scared him to death. In the morning, he found Matoaka by the well, prepping it to carry into the grounds for her family. She heard his footsteps and turned to face and greet him. "Good morning." Her words were cut in half, for he had one thing he absolutely had to do before the day continued, before their date came to an end. See, he used to be a pirate, and pirates are a sneaky lot. They take what they want and do not ask permission. After this one thing, he would be a pirate no more. After he steals this one last thing, he will never look back at who he used to be. And what is this one thing, you ask? A stolen kiss from the tribal princess. A most passionate kiss. A kiss that consumed them both. Their hearts beat as one loudly, profoundly. Their bodies melded together like two lost puzzle pieces that finally found each other. It started out as a desperate, stolen kiss that became a poetic sonnet. This stolen kiss was exactly what he needed to ensure himself of his upcoming decision.